Sagittarius, welcome back, beautifuls. We're here to cover the astrology must-knows for the beginning of the month. And then as we move further into this update for you, we will be covering your love, career, wellness, and more. If you do want a private booking, you can go to the link directly below. Without further ado, let's take a look at what I see coming through this month and what to be aware of. Now, as we do move through into the beginning of the month, we do have two moon phases to be aware of. One is going to be a full moon in Scorpio on the 5th at 15 degrees. Now, this is a lunar eclipse. Eclipses come in sets. This is linking to the South Node currently. Later in the year, we will be having the nodes shifting signs. So this is really a wrap-up event, so to speak. Even though we are going to have the eclipse, you can find that circumstances around the house that I mentioned for you is going to play out for another 6 to 12 months. So there can be this cleanup, there can be these new beginnings, and there can be changes. We also have the new moon in Taurus on the 19th of May, 2023 at 28 degrees, which is going to be the critical degree. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the fact that as we do move into the month, we are having Pluto moving retrograde. Now, this is the first time in the Zodiac. It will be dipping between Aquarius and Capricorn. I definitely will link this for your zodiac sign in what I do see coming up, but it is its introduction to it. We can be reworking these circumstances, and especially because of the eclipse linking so close, I do predict it can be quite an intense first week of the month. It can linger into the second week, especially with frustrations happening with Mercury still in its retrograde. Now, Mercury goes station direct the 15th. We also have Jupiter exiting Aries and entering into the house of Taurus for its next cycle. So this will be a 1-year cycle. So we will have a lot of Taurian energies playing out, and especially because your zodiac is quite Jupiter in nature, this is going to impact you. Not necessarily for the bad. Okay, so Venus is currently in the house of Gemini, and it can be where we directly are really connecting into intellectual stimulation, emotions, feelings. It can be very stimulating. You also are going to need independence, especially for those of you that are in connections. You're going to desire that more so, where you want to have a non-codependent relationship, okay? So there can be some push-pull dynamics, especially coming up at the collective, but definitely for your zodiac sign. It can be beneficial, so this could be a beautiful time, but again, with Mercury retrograde in the first few weeks, it can cause a bit of conflict. Venus will enter Cancer from the 7th. This is going to be an interesting position, particularly because this can be a very emotional energy, very understanding, very nurturing, very loving, co-creative, but Mars currently is in the house of Cancer. So there can be conflicts with family, with tribe, with creativity, with drive. It is deemed as in its detriment in the house of Cancer, so keep that in mind. That is really linked to, especially for your zodiac, because it is linked to the 8th house. So Pluto is really going to be amplifying that situation. It can be a lot of wounds that come up. The other thing is Mars will be exiting Cancer, but it won't be till the 20th. And then we can have a lot more to do with our identity. How do we shine bright like a diamond? How do we move towards our destiny? What is our intuition telling us? And there's going to be a bit more direction. Unfortunately, for the first half of the month, it does feel like there's endings, new chapters, emotional pop-offs, and a lot of balls in the air, so to speak. And Mercury really putting a spanner in the works can amplify that situation. Now, I do see beautiful aspects with the Taurus side of the chart. We just need to move through these reworkings, maybe not knowing completely how it's going to go to get to that. Without further ado, let's look at the Moonology and what I see coming through for your star sign, and then into your romance house. Okay, as I mentioned, as we do move through in the beginning week of this month, first day of the month, we have Pluto retrograding. For you, there could be a lot to do with contracts, reworking things, a lot of hustle and bustle. You can be changing your routine. I would say drive carefully, especially because it's Mercury retrograde and Pluto is retrograding in your third house. It is going to move back between the third and the second house. So later, it is going to move into the energy of Capricorn, and there can be some old situations relating to self esteem, confidence, professional resources, diet, confidence. And material value. So, this could be to do with really rebuilding your wealth house back up, but a lot of other areas can actually come through in this. I do feel emotionally, this can for your zodiac sign, and this is one prediction I'm really having. There can be a lot to do with psychology coming up for your zodiac sign at this point in time, and it's not personal, it's part of the transits. You definitely have some health aspects. You definitely have some rejigging, a lot of crap on your plate. Let's just be perfectly honest. So in harmonizing that, you're going to find ways to really turn over a new leaf and get the success out of it. You are Jupiter in nature, and Jupiter is here to benefit you. You have learned a great deal over the last few years. So this moon phase, moving into it, it is linking to your 12th house. This can actually be an ending of a belief system, and it's a brand new chapter. So it's going really, when we see the 12th house can play out in a myriad of ways. One, it can be to do with gurus, spirituality, closure, meditation, psychic downloads. It also can be to do with fear with new beginnings. Almost like when we have an existential crisis, a midlife crisis, or we're directly getting to a place where we're healing after a huge trauma. But it's like we're summing up our whole life and we're going, well, what to from here? So it is mature, but it also doesn't really want to be the full card and tarot and jump in the deep end. So it can be the psychology surrounding how do we liberate ourselves after an ending? It's a little bit like Celine. Oh, I think it's shared. Do we believe in life after love? Really getting into that belief system that a brand new chapter can come. Now, the 12th house can also link to prisons, mental asylums, the house of personal undoing, psychology, personal habits, especially because it's crown chakra, so it can be using a pacifier, some things to that degree. So it can be moving into this eclipse that there is a potential that you can feel very off. Okay, so being prepared for it, knowing that as you're transitioning into it, you're getting your anchored energy in, you're not jumping in the deep end, you're flowing through the vibration, and knowing that the frequency is going to shift, but there can be some revelation. There could be some secret that you reveal or some secret that is revealed to you, to be perfectly honest. Intimate wounds can come up. This could be in a child because it's moon. It could be to do with a partner, a parent. Definitely a brand new chapter, okay? When it does occur, there can be a lot of closure that comes in. There also could be a magical creative idea, and you've just been so bogged down that you've been like, how do I get to it? How do I get to it? Where is the stream? And I do directly feel it's after the fact. There can be some revelations, but there definitely spiritually can be a lot of cleansing, a lot of healing and revelations inside yourself. As we move further into the month, Mercury will move direct. We'll also have the new moon in Taurus, and it's at the critical degree. So it's like, wow, okay, well, we've been working on something, and now Jupiter is going to expand it. So this links to your 6th house. Now, your success is going to come through what is the structure in your life? What is the foundation you are basing your future on? Is it stable? Would something need to go? You also could decide to turn over a new leaf and address situations to do with your wellness, to do with success. The 6th house is a very beneficial kind of location in the chart. I can't say I directly enjoyed the 6th house. It's here for a year for you with Jupiter in the house, so it's going to expand it. Can it expand your belt? Yes, it can. You can wear loose clothing to counteract it. And then you're pouring that energy physically into a goal. And then it's the goal that expands, not us. For me, I remember moving through the transit of the sixth house on a particular cycle. And I did become unwell, but I also simultaneously was really reworking structures, becoming very realistic, looking at my nutrition and diet and ways that I could become more productive in my energy so I wasn't burning myself out. So it's an absolute essential kind of house to have for success in your future. You can be looking at habits. You can be looking at how you directly deal with your stress levels. This could be pushing, working hard, trying to earn money, how you use your money because it's Venus, it's Venusian, how you eat food, how you deal with stress levels. Jupiter is going to be expanding your horizons, but I also feel it's almost like the sixth house is coming through, like it might be quite buckled down, even though it's Jupiter energy. And I feel like you're battening down hatches and you're getting some goals done. So this can be like you're determined to gain success. And if it means hard yards, you're willing to do it. Those of you in the love department, now currently we do have Venus in the house of Gemini, okay? It is going to move later into the house of Cancer. So really what you're working through, I can say if you are currently in a relationship, there is passion, there's concerns maybe over the partner's income. It could be your income. There also could be subjects to the tax and debt coming up for you, but also intimacy wounds, self-acceptance, insecurities can come up. You also may feel that there is a big review happening in your love life, even though at the moment Venus is there, okay? Mars is in Cancer, so it's putting pressure on one party or the other. But it also could be that there is a circumstance after last month is that there could be some surprise pregnancies for some of you. I do feel creatively, so if there was tension points and you were feeling this direct relationship was not where you wanted it to be, I do particularly feel there's a potential that you're going to be really thinking about that this month. I also feel there could be some subjects that are coming up to do with what you're doing versus what others are doing. Mercury retrograde can bring old situations to a head, old situations back up. There are some goals here that you're trying to achieve, but I also feel spiritually, subjects to do with values can really come up. And I feel you're going to be more vocal as we do move through. And if you don't adhere to your inner feelings, maybe some demons or how that is playing out for you, I feel the frustration is going to come out, and that can be with our loved ones, our friendship groups, etc. I do feel during this time, you could feel that something has become a little bit boring. Like you might actually like that. There could be something that is playing out where you're feeling, okay, I want to do the routine. I want to have maybe a quiet dinner at home or socialize with some friends. But I feel for some of you, it could be that you want a sense of stability. So the boring maybe isn't the word. It's more a sense of stability, something that you can depend on. Those of you that are single, there is an opportunity here for somebody to come back towards you. I do feel some of you could be blocking it. This could be especially in patterns and habits and feelings and trauma due to the past. Be open to things and know that during a retrograde, it is a good time to renegotiate the terms, to revisit the circumstance, to sit with it and say, okay, where do I stand here? And especially because currently we do have Venus in the house of Gemini, I do think there is a positive energy. Even when we do have it moving into the house of Cancer, even more so, because what you are going to be requiring is someone that is stable, someone that's willing to work with you. And that is going to be the key. If you are on the rocks with this and the writing's on the wall, this Scorpio eclipse could signify a culmination point of such with a new beginning. Career, you guys do have big changes. Now, the frustrating point is going to be because Mercury is retrograde. Being organized is going to be absolutely critical. Even myself, running my business, running my spiritual hub, doing other things in my life, whenever I see Mercury retrograde, especially because I know the aspects of my chart, I go, okay, you're going to be really busy. So I do tend to attempt to be as organized as physically possible. Yes, the unforeseen can come during this time. You also could be casting a critical eye on yourself or the situation in your career. And this is actually a very beneficial time for those of you, if you were wanting to network and look for other places of employment. Review the contracts, review the paperwork. If you need to sign anything, the better, safer time via the stars would be after the 15th. But we can't all do that at all times. So it's key to know that some of those circumstances or requirements on you, you may not know of until after it goes direct. So that's one backside of it. The other thing I can say is you do have a keen eye for detail. Jupiter is going to bring a new role to you. It is going to show you the skills that you have, the ability to deal with, how would I say it? Qualifying organization. You do have an eye for detail, okay? You've got Virgo in your 10th. You've got the 6th house of Taurus there. Mercury is making you go back over old ground. So if you did need to catch up, you're going to be doing a lot of that in order to move forward. Some of the things you might be clearing, and this could be especially for those of you that are working home-based businesses. Some of you can have environmental shifts and changes, and some of you, it may be that you're having to be very organized at home, keeping it very efficient. You have a dream associated to that area. So this could be purchasing a home, a home-based business. Some of you could be doing both. Just be aware that there can be elements of frustrations, delays, crosswise, double check your emails, and it can ease up. As we do move forward, what you're going to have is a more system-orientated routine. And it is going to help you have your own personal life. And a lot of you are going to absolutely require this at this point in time. It's been almost all career and no personal time, or personal time and no career. And I feel you're going to harmonize that as we do move through this month. Wealth can be a time of review. Now, there is an opportunity here to gain through your place of employment. I also see shifts in your contracts, and you can be ushering in something that you can depend on in a more effective manner. There could also be some expenses where it does come to white goods. That can be replacement of things. I also do potentially see there can be repairs on cars or a review of a contract surrounding a vehicle. Some of you also may be actually seeing, where the costs are coming from in your life. Could this be your day-to-day routine? Could it be grabbing the cappuccino on the run? Everything adds up. And, Jupiter transiting your 6th house, I do see some of you could be also getting a pet. So this can be a cat, a dog. Generally, it's a larger species. So, let's go to extremes there. A horse, a dog. It will be larger animals than smaller. It can still be. But again, there can be some crosswise, and care for their health during Mercury retrograde. As it goes direct, things can look very different, but it can be quite a large time of change. Generally, if we do have a pet, transition over, usually that will happen because the universe has a big plan for you, and so they actually exit stage so that you are more free to be able to address that. So if that has happened, my love and empathy to you. But just know that there's reasons why souls choose to transition out. I do directly see some positivity here. You are trying to dress for success. Some of you could win lotteries as well. Now, your wellness zone, there is a lot going on in your aura right now, and you're going to have to be very loving to yourself, very in tune with who you are. So, how do we do that? Really checking in with yourself day by day, knowing that as we do enter the first week, it does hold a signature of stress, and really being aware of that. And then we won't personalize it, but also knowing your limit. If you're getting run down, or if you're unable to handle things, journaling, seeking a professional, especially with the eclipse transiting over your 12th house. It can have a lot to do with maybe a coach, a mentor, a spiritual advisor. It can be rehabilitation officers. It's leaving the house, but it also can be trauma coming up during that time. So, really finding healthy ways to deal with problems that have been lingering for a long time. Sometimes it can be us directly looking at a circumstance and saying, look, I'm really batting my head against the wall. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this anymore, but I feel guilty. And it's about accepting that. It's about saying to yourself, okay, I'm viewing the current situation. It's really ugly right now. And I forgive myself that this isn't something I can do any longer, and just own that and then take the direct steps after such. And I can tell you, it's like ripping a toenail out gospel. The other thing I can say is be very careful with pacifiers. You do have Jupiter transiting your 6th house of health, and it can be the things that we do to unwind at the end of the day. That also, especially during an eclipse and during the moon, is going to cause intensifications, and you can have off kind of dynamics that do occur around pacifiers during the moon phases, especially psychic attacks and things to that degree. This overall, this month is going to be very positive, and I do see a lot of you wanting to change your image, wanting to get fit, wanting to turn over a new leaf where it comes to really caring for your health and getting into a routine that is calming and relaxing you. For some reason, I'm really psychically picking up on gut health. So this can be anxious stomachs, IBS, and things to that degree. Again, this is not medical advice. This is intuitive energy. Again, it can be tension. So just being aware, I would definitely keep fluid up during this month. Those positions can cause dehydration, especially with Pluto retrograding in Aquarius and then dipping, and also the element of Taurus, which is very active. So hydration, heart chakra, caring for our health, really feeding our body and looking at the use by dates of meat. There could be some physical recalls on produce that do come in. And we could have some power outages. But anywho, I will see you next month. If you do want a private booking, come through to the link directly below, and I can look at your individual birth chart, which will always hold a very significant signature for you.